I thought I'd do a video on the second property that I bought when I bought the main house, which is there. I also got another house which was there. I can show you a picture on Google Earth what it used to look like. We do still have the old front door and the door number, or house number, and that's obviously joining up to the garage with its roller shutter, which I have managed to get open a couple of times. And there we have one of the catches from the old shutters that were in front of the windows. Quite cute. Sadly though, by the time we'd bought the property, it had fallen down. I think it fell down a couple of years before we got it, going by the growth of plants and things inside. One thing I did have to do when I first got here was put up a chain link fence, I think you can see that, across the front, because basically it was just a hole off the side of the pavement and I didn't want to be liable for anyone to fall down. I believe this side of the building is forming an end wall on the barn next to it. I shall have to investigate that at some point. I thought I'd show you a bit about what this is. Like I say, it's a bit overgrown now. It's grown up in the last few days. But there is at this end, I don't know if you can see that. There is in there a ceramic sink. You can see the tap above it. And next to that we have this fireplace. Obviously a lot of it's fallen down, but the stone that's around is still there. And it goes up, there's a flue, and it goes up into the chimney. Now, although we're on the ground here, this isn't the ground floor of this building. There is a floor underneath this, and there's a doorway that goes through there into the rest of the building. But it's pretty much all fallen down, and it's pretty much everything is now sitting in the room underneath the one that should be here. I'll go around and have a look from the other side. So this is the back of the building. What we're looking at there, where the ladder is going up to that window, that's actually the room we were looking at from the roadside. As you can see underneath the ladder, there is a door and there is a window behind that, the plant there. So that's actually below the level of the road, but it's actually ground level this side. Next to that we have the garage. There's the window at the back, that's the garage there. Again, that's road level, and underneath the road level we have what we're using is a store for timber. Doors have long gone off this. Go inside. Should be able to see. It's quite a useful space. It's got quite a lot of wood drying out in here. The ceiling in here is the same as the ceiling in the cellar of the main house. It's the brick vaults between RSJs. One curious thing though is this large concrete box on the side here. There's no door in it, there's no lid, solid underneath and solid on the top, but it does go out to a hole on the outside. I've got no idea what it's for. So probably at one point I'm going to remove it, but it's down on the list of things to do. So, but yeah, we're now underneath the garage outside. This is the outside of that square concrete box inside. It's just an opening out onto the ground level out here. Like I say, I've got no idea what that was for. Like I said, this window here leads into the ground floor room at road level, where the door underneath actually leads from this level into it. If I go up the ladder, you can see, you can't see very much actually because it's so overgrown in here. There is the beams of the floor and the ceiling and everything that was above it has all fallen down inside. Pretty much filled it up. The building this side, the downstairs rooms don't appear to be connected. So we have, there you have a door to the room underneath the one at the road level. There's a doorway there into a room. There's a doorway there into a room. And next to that there is a window. And then there is another doorway there into that downstairs room. And at the end there's another doorway. Which goes into what used to be a wash house, because it's still got the original washing sink into it, and the window at the end there. At the moment that's just where I'm putting all the plaster work that I'm pulling out of the main house. So we have the washer there with a tap above it. Now this I think was 2 stories originally, because there is evidence of beams going across there. But more importantly, there seems to be a doorway blocked up there leading into the rest of the house. So I'm guessing that this was an extension built onto the house at some point, going by the bricks to key it in. And this was probably 2 stories, but at the moment it's only 1 story. And it's pretty much fallen down. I guess this room is, I don't know, 8 feet by 15, probably 2.5 meters by 3.5. In fact, this whole building is not very big. I can't open the door into the room below road level because obviously it's full of stuff the other side, so I can't take you in there, but I can take you into the first room here. This is very narrow. I Can't quite touch side to side, so it's a little bit over 6 feet this end. And as you can see, there was a dividing wall here. So this was a separate room to the next room, they weren't connected. And we've got a couple of beams still in situ, but not very much. And this doorway here leads onto the room next to the road, so that was, the upstairs was all connected, the downstairs wasn't. As you can see, I've still got a light switch. Don't think it works though. And as you can see here, there's a fireplace. So that room at least had some heating in it. And there is a doorway next door to it that leads into the next upstairs room. So like I say, I believe the ground level with the road was all connected, but the other rooms seem to be separate. And the best part of the house is the chimney stack, which looks in really good condition. All you need really, isn't it? That's the door into the second room. As you can see, it's again, this has suffered from everything above it falling into this room. Windows there, still got the locking mechanism on, which may come in useful at some point. Might have to dig that out. Now in the middle room, there's the fireplace on the first or ground floor, or whatever floor it is. But downstairs, in the garden level, there's another big fireplace heating this middle room. I've just spotted there's a pot sitting on the top there. I really haven't investigated very much in there at all. There's no doubt there's lots of things buried in here. There's a big metal box there. There's all sorts of things in here, but there's also sheets of glass, broken roof tiles, bits of plant, bits of rock, lots of crumbling and decaying wood. If we can get a look into this next room. Looking at the end room, there seems to be an old bed at the end there, but the floor is gone in that one as well, and the ceiling, surprise surprise, so I'm not going up in there. Next to the fireplace there's some, looks like looks like the cover of a book. I suspect these possibly the old school books. Obviously they've been out here in the rain for weather for a number of years. They have all. And there we have a Monet. Not that Monet. Monet was the surname of the people we bought the house from. That says Anglais on there, so obviously an English book from one of the people that used to live here. So yeah, I'm getting the feeling that these are leftover books, old school books probably. from the people who used to live in the house before us. A boot. There's the other one there by the look of it. Pair of boots, anyone? And a bottle. No idea what that is. I don't think I'm going to drink it though. More boots. Another one there. Seems to have found the shoes. This one is Simone. It's another person's school books. I've literally just turned to dust. A couple of other things I've just found. There's this yellow child's waterproof hat. Plastic, so that's okay. There's a leather seat. There's some chair legs there. So that's an old chair that's rotted about. And I've just pulled out these. It seems to be an old wall lamp. And there's part of the shade still on it. Amazing what you can find. So that just leaves us two more rooms really. Got the downstairs one at this end. It really has, showing you just how much it's fallen down. Covered in the corner with odds and ends in it. I have looked at some of them. There's a couple of headlights there from cars. There's been spark plugs and ignition leads and all sorts of things for cars. Very old cars. Obviously had electrics in here. I don't think they'll be working. As you can see, the floor has collapsed completely from the first floor. One day I will get over here and I'm going to empty these rooms out properly and clear them out. And I'm sure it wouldn't take much to put some joists back in and make it watertight, and then this would be a useful area for storage if nothing else. I think it's a little bit too small to actually turn into a gîte, but you never know, I could extend it a little bit. So with the aid of a ladder I can get up to this top floor room, one that I'm definitely not going to stand in because of the floor has gone. There's the cupboard in the corner from the room downstairs. Doorway into next door. And like I said, there appears to be a bed and a mattress still on the remaining bit of floor up here. Looks like we had a lino floor in here at some point. And again, there is still things sitting around on the floor from the previous occupants. And there is part of the ceiling. And if you notice, above the ceiling there appears to be mud and straw. Well, that's what they used to do. They used to put wooden slats across and then put mud and straw on top of that. And when it dries out, it would make like a cement floor so you could walk on it. Also works as a pretty good insulator. So that's probably why, once the roof started leaking, It got too heavy and the beams just gave way and the whole lot came crashing down. So the question remains, what am I going to do with this? The answer is, I don't know. I did originally think that I could restore it and rent it out, but to be honest, it's pretty much gone. The wall does move above there, where that piece of ivy is above that window, or between the windows. I've been putting a ladder against it, chopped some of the ivy off, and the wall was moving as I was climbing up the ladder, so it's not safe. It would have to come down to be rebuilt. If I did that, I think I'd want to move it out a couple of metres and give it a bit more room, and then put a staircase between the downstairs and upstairs. But France is a strange place. This building, because I own it, I have to have insurance on it. So if anyone damages themselves when they break into it, I'm covered. So this is all the tumble down buildings that you see in France are all insured. One of the strange things. And the reason they don't pull them down, because once it's gone, it's very hard to get planning permission to rebuild something. But while it's still here, I can restore it and rebuild it back up. So that's the reason that, although parts of it are unsafe, and you may think, why don't I just pull it all down? It's because of this planning issue. If I pull it down, I probably won't get permission to build anything back. So for now, it stays.